Hello world, I'm Attila. Today I will talk about the power of introverts in a world that can't stop talking book. And this was a book about introverts. Our world is built for extroverts, and that's a problem because one in every three people is an introvert. So we should really focus more energy into this segment of the society. And I consider myself an introvert as well. So it was a very interesting book. So let's begin. Our world is built for group work, so in the school and in the workplace as well. And we as introverts, we feel guilty when we turn down a dinner invitation or like a time when we could spend with someone. Instead, we just sit in our books in our rooms and read something or just do things on our own. And like our society used to value introverts a lot more, but we have this we had this change in our perception with the rise of the industrial America because it became important how others perceived us. Before that, like we worked with the same people throughout our lives, our neighbors and our friends. But then, like we met with strangers, with complete strangers in the factories, and it was very important how they perceived us because we gained promotions based on that. And we became obsessed with self-representation and personality. So the movie stars became our role models, and the ideal person became the very social one. And we think that being extroverted will make us successful and a better person overall. And for example, Harvard Business School, and they say that and they show this in their admission process as well, that a leader must be an extrovert. They must act confidently. But if we look at the data, most of the greatest CEOs are introverts. So, for example, just look at Bill Gates. There were a lot more examples, but I don't remember to them, unfortunately. And we need leaders who build not their own egos, but the institutions that they run. And there were a lot of statistics and studies as well. And they show that introvert leaders perform better because they listen to others and they don't want to dominate the situation. So they can listen to their employees and they can encourage their employees to take their own intuition so they can work on their own projects. And like the introvert leaders don't want to put their stamp on everything because an extrovert leader want to dominate everything and they don't encourage their employees and they don't listen to them. And the introverts easily engage discussions online and share intimate facts there, like starting a YouTube channel. And then they can extend these virtual relationships into the real world. So their family might never imagine that they are this open online. And I thought like in which fields of life is it a pro? Is it beneficial to be an introvert? And theoretical and art work is for introverts, while public domain is for extroverts. Because in a public domain, you must speak, you must have a great charisma, and that is for extroverts, while design work is best done alone, and art, because artists create alone. And in many fields of study, studying alone is very powerful because they need this deliberate practice. And working conditions are the best when you are alone because artists need this personal space that is vital for creativity. When you are in a group, while brainstorming and working in a group is very important, and we don't want to like demolish it. There is this phenomenon called evaluation apprehension. When you are in a group, the most dominant person, the most social, like the decision of the most dominant person will prevail, even if it's wrong. So there is no correlation between being right and having great talking skills. And then it told up like, why are we introverts and why are we extroverts? And like this temperament versus personality. Temperament is the thing that you are born with. These are the basic behavior and emotional patterns that created us and they define us. While personality is a more complex thing. It is built on temperament, and its personality can be changed, but we can't completely redefine ourselves because this temperament is solid. So it's like a little bit like a rubber. You can flex the rubber a little bit, but you can't change it entirely. And then it talks about like embarrassment, and our embarrassment determines how much we care about the rules that bind us to one another. So it said that if she would go on a date and she would only have one question before marrying that person, and they must decide based on that one question, she would ask what was the most recent, most embarrassing situation in his or her life. Because if it was very embarrassing, and based on her or his reaction, you can decipher that. You can see that like how much sensitive is he or she to the rules. And then it talks like rewards, and we are too sensitive to rewards, and this can drive us to a lot of trouble. And we want this reward because we want the positive emotion associated with it. We like gaining something. The extroverts seek these rewards even more, and that's because they feel more pleasure and excitement. And that's why they are extroverts. So they like being in the middle of the group because then they get the most pleasure and the joy. While extroverts or introverts like being alone in the quiet of their rooms. And introverts, when they make a mistake, they slow down and they learn from their mistakes more easily, and they think their decisions through, while extroverts make quick decisions. They speed up, and like this seeking rewards and making quick decisions make extroverts make stock market a bad place for extroverts, and it's a better place for introverts because you really don't need to like just go for the highest gains, because then you will fail and you will lose all of your money, and you really have to think through your decisions in the stock market. And then it talked about flow from a fellow Hungarian, Csíkszentmihalyi, and this flow is when you just do activities for your love of doing it and not for the reward. So it's more of a thing for introverts because they are because they are not that reward oriented. Then it talked about the difference in cultures, and these Asian cultures tend to value quiet more because words can hurt other people while quiet is for thinking. And for example, Gandhi was also an introvert. They are very quiet persons. They are very quiet people, and they value thinking a lot. and they have this group identity, while on the other hand West is organized around the individual, and these Asians are also very persistent. And introverts speak freely of topics that interest them, so then their inhibitions are removed because they really have a couple of core interests, and like they stick with it throughout their lives. And everyone has this restorative niche, and it's a place you go when you want to return to your true self, and you want to like just be alone from the world and do the things that you most love. And it's more of an introvert thing. And there are extrovert introvert couples, and they have a lot of problems together sometimes, because introverts need quiet at the end of the day to think the day through, to read a little bit, to be on their own, while extroverts hate this silence. They would like to talk with their spouse. And introverts like people they meet in friendly contexts, while extroverts prefer those they compete with. So for example, extroverts are really built for the classrooms, because in the classroom you are constantly competing for the attention of the teacher, or for the love of the girl or the guy. So they love this competing, and they love meeting people in this competitive environment. And introverts prefer to talk out deeply about the topic, so not just superficially, while extroverts are more willing to small talk and chat about things, not so deep. And to make a great salespeople, you have to talk well, but introverts make a little bit better salespeople, because more importantly, you have to listen as well. So you have to listen to the needs of your client, to understand them and satisfy them. And introverts also prefer one-to-one discussions rather than talking in a group. Schools are made for extroverts, so if you have an introvert child, you should meet the teacher personally, one-to-one, with the kid, because they prefer these one-to-one discussions much more. And if you are a teacher, you should make the kid talk about things interesting to him, so he forgot his inhibitions and he will be more open. And you must understand that being an introvert is not the thing that needs to be cured. It's their personality. And because of the temperament, you can't change it. And it can be an advantage in a lot of situations. So for example, in art, design subjects. And introverts are also more likely to stick with their enthusiasms for a long time, it's an advantage for them as they grow, because if you really concentrate on a few subjects as you grow up, you will really gain a tremendous knowledge about that subject. So that was this book. It was very fascinating. If you are an introvert or just a teacher or a parent, you must read this. And if you are an extrovert as well, so everyone should read it. But I think I also made a great summary out of it. Because I'm an introvert, it was also very interesting for me. I often saw that I don't really like dominating in a large group. I prefer being in silence, reading. So yeah, it was fascinating. You should subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my podcast if you are interested in topics like this. My channel is for everyone, because I think reading is great, but a lot of people don't have time to read nowadays. So I read one book every day and make a video out of the lessons that I learned and the notes that I made and thoughts that I have. So if you don't have time and you want to learn more, I think this is a time when you listen to my videos. It's like a time worth spending, because you can really learn a lot by this. So that's it for today. I also have a Twitter account. You should follow me there. I will put it in the description. So thank you for coming in. If you have a book that you would like to recommend, I'm open to anything. Bye bye.